Today, the last day of CES, we're bringing you a lot of good information from the Transforming EDU subconference and the panel on innovation to glass displays, simulations, which have increased dramatically in their fidelity, 3D without glasses, and MUV Bird technology, which is a new interface technology that we had a chance to try out. Lots of interesting new technology here. All of it takes some translation, but it's pretty exhausting and it's about time for a break. Okay, we're here at Stream TV's booth in the Central Hall with Bud, who's going to talk to us a little bit about glasses-free 3D television.
That's right. Our technology is called Ultra D. It's a glasses-free 3D system. It's got an optical lens on the front, so you can't retrofit an existing TV. You're going to need to buy a new device, this new TV, because it's got special glass. And the lens bends the light and creates a 3D experience that you can see without glasses. Anybody in the room is 140 degrees, so it's good for larger groups of people. Perfect for an educational environment where you may want to have a group of students scattered around, where you don't have to have people. In the old days, a few years ago, in order to have glasses-free 3D, you had to stand here or here and be in a special spot, and you couldn't have more than a couple people looking at it. But here, everyone in the room can see it.
Interesting. Now, in this case, because a lot of our clientele are interested in porting it out to large numbers of people at separate locations, we'd have to be thinking about a time in the future when everybody has a TV like this in their homes, so that they would be able to access the 3D capabilities. But for gaming, this is a wonderful, potential, I would imagine. It seems to me that gaming is one of your good applications, yes?
Absolutely. Our idea from the beginning is there's a lot of bits of content that are perfect. Gaming is one of the pillars that we're building on, because there's a 3D engine already creating an environment in 3D. The problem is it goes out to a 2D TV and most of that data is wasted.
Yeah.
So we've created plugins that allow the computer game to send a signal out in the format that our screens understand. But we've also got built-in converters that will take 2D or 3D content and turn it into Ultra D on the fly. So our plan is that this will be useful for all kinds of content. And in fact, ultimately what we'd like to do for the rollout, if you think about how we move from black and white to color, is that you had a signal that worked for the old TVs, and now you added some additional color information, and if you had a new TV, it knew what to do with that information, and you got color. If you had an old TV, it just ignored the color information, and you saw black and white. Our signal is 2D plus depth information, so we're sending 2D plus depth to the screen. If you've got an old TV, you'll just get the 2D part, but if you've got an Ultra D screen, now you've got depth data, it knows what to do with that. And we've found that it's really an attention grabber and an attention holder. So for digital signage, there's a long dwell time, and in an educational application,
for motivation
purposes, you've got a way to really grab people and hold their attention.
Great gain and sustain attention. That's great. Outstanding. Thank you so much for your time, Bud. We really appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Alan.
Bye now.
All right,
the Corning booth with Ryan Flannery, who's talking to us about some of the new glass display technologies. There are a lot of different applications here. Obviously, most of them require that you be in place where there is a glass display. So that creates some problems or issues when you're thinking about an e-learn or online learning situation. But if we can project ourselves maybe 20 years into the future, 10 years into the future, maybe a lot of people will have glass like this in their homes. What do you think? Is that possible?
We have a really great video that we've done a few years ago called The Day Made of Glass, and we think that it's a really great vision of the future technologies that involve a lot of interactive technologies in your home, out in the world, even in your car. We think there's a lot of great applications for that in the world, in the future world. And so, yeah, we do think that there's some really great possibilities for interactive technologies being more a part of our life in the future.
So if we're talking about an online learning space and we're thinking about how online learners are at home and they're going to have glass screens as opposed to the traditional monitors and the traditional television set kind of screens, then you might find a lot of information that was just displayed on your window in the morning when you woke up, and your professor might be sending you a quick memo saying you need this following report, and things like that might be coming in to your home in a different kind of way than we're used to for a traditional e-learning setting. But I think it has great possibilities. We can also see some opportunities here in museums and in non-formal spaces, anywhere where people would congregate. So if you had a cyber charter school that was going on a field trip, you might see something like this pop up as well.
I think museums are a great application for this. It's a public experience. You're there to see what's on display. The museum wants to provide you information about that, but they don't want to interfere with the experience of actually seeing what you're there to see, whatever that may be. And so having a transparent, interactive display, we think is a great application.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ryan. We appreciate your time. Have a good afternoon.
You too.
Move Interactive is an Israeli company that is working on a new interface between computers and people. What used to be an entire arm or hand glove that allowed us to interact with screens and anything that we can do on an iPad or in any kind of a touch capacity has now been transformed into a single finger device called the Bird. Now, in terms of thinking about using such an interface with an e-learning context, it's a little bit more difficult to make this leap because it's primarily thought of currently for interactive social gaming and classroom use where we have large numbers of people in the same space. Up to 10 birds can be interacting with a screen at the same time. What becomes more interesting from an e-learn perspective is, can we think about an opportunity where everyone would have a bird in their home and they would be able to use it in some way in an online setting with an e-learning distributed context. My hope is that MUV Interactive will move in this direction in time. In the meantime, it remains one of the more interesting technologies that we saw here at CES.
In the front. There you go. When you're ready to press the gas, face your front.
As you know, it's our tradition. We never just give away.
When you're ready to press the gas, look forward.
Stop. I didn't see we were doing that. Maybe this ball got some bad thing. All right, so yes, there are 4 giveaways later today.
Myself is all over the world, yeah.
You might need
Thank you so much for joining us on our e-learning adventures at CES 2016. We hope you've enjoyed these videos and that they give you some great new ideas for the next e-learning generation.